Hello, my name is Juan. People call me JC. I'm the director and financial advisor for Success Avenue. So let's start with the story of where the name came from for the business. Success Avenue, my idea, I was driving on the motorway a couple of years ago thinking about starting this new business after being in the financial service industry for a little while. And my thing with clients has always been trying to find what is the avenue to success. So it just popped to my mind and I called it Success Avenue because of that reason. If you look at the logo of the business and when you go to the website and all the promotional stuff that we do, it's got a wave in the sun, and that's to do with my connection to the ocean. I'm really into lifestyle and living life to the fullest. So when you look at my line is your new path to lifestyle and financial success. Everything for me about financial success is to do with being having a successful lifestyle, basically. So how much money you need to make to have a successful life is to do with how much money you need to live a successful lifestyle. So if that is going for a walk on the beach on the weekends, or buying a supercar, or whatever that tickles your fancy. My point here is to sit down with you and help you achieve that it is you want to achieve. So there's 4 main areas that I focus on. One is financial coaching. There is a massive issue in modern society, and I guess there's always been an issue, is we go to school for about probably 12 years and we learn nil about money. We live in a society that is designed to keep us in debt, and that is a massive problem. And that's where you see, kids in their 20s, and I guess I was one of them, wasting a whole lot of money, not really understanding how to best use your money. So the bank, the IRD, all these different entities don't end up with a big percentage of it. And having a bit more knowledge about from an early age to understand how to better use your money, it can have a huge impact in your future. So today is a perfect example of going through a global pandemic. After the first lockdown, we saw probably 70% of New Zealanders couldn't really afford living past 3 months with their savings, and that's a massive issue. So understanding money and being aware of the impact of not being good with money can have a huge financial impact in your life. So then we got to worry about buying a house, we got to worry about living life, and we're going to worry about retirement at some point. In retirement, when we talk about retirement, I talk about retirement with an 18-year-old or a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old or whoever. Why? Because the sooner you start, the sooner you're going to reach that success that you need to be able to live a good retirement. So there's a lot of money being printed at the moment. I don't know how much money is going to be left for our retirement from a government point of view or government support point of view, and the cost of living keeps going up and up. So it's really important for us to focus on having a really good understanding of our money and how to get the most of it, how to save better, and so on. Another big focus for me has been I'm a mortgage advisor, a mortgage broker. I have a huge passion for it, and I'm not your typical mortgage broker that is transactional. I really enjoy working with people. I've got many clients where I've worked for 2-3 years to get them to a position where they can buy their first home. And that's to do with having a good plan in place and taking the actions they need to take. So it doesn't matter if you're not in a position, or clients are not in a position where they can go and buy a house straight away. We take them through a path to be able to achieve it, no matter what the time, or how long it's going to take to get there, basically. And that's really to do with understanding how to save better, how to budget your money better, and understanding what sort of property you could be able to buy and get into the market. Very hard these days to be able to save to buy a house. A lot of Kiwis are getting into properties with the help of their parents, using KiwiSaver, for example, and knowing how to get the best out of those areas can really maximize your chances of owning a house much sooner. Insurance. So that's an area that I'm really passionate about, and the reason I'm passionate about it is because for better or worse, I've experienced a lot of loss in my life with family and friends and different things, and also help a lot of families going through situations where if they didn't have the financial help from an insurance policy, the end result could have been much worse. So this insurance stuff is not the favorite subject for people to talk about, but I'm passionate about it because I've seen the impact of people going through things without it and with it. And I tell you what, the impact of not paying for an insurance premium is much worse than what happens if you don't have it and you need the money to make it through and have that financial support, so you don't have the stress to focus on what's important, and what's important is recovery. And the last thing, building wealth. So building wealth to do with KiwiSaver. If you have, a lot of people have different focuses today on how they want to build wealth, and I'm not here to tell people how to do it. It's more about looking at what options you're looking for. Let's call it shares, call it cryptocurrencies, call it property. My experience is more in property, and that's where I really feel I can give you really good advice. But I can, have basic knowledge of all these other areas as well, where they all complement each other. If you run a business, I'll tell you a little bit about my story about how I've run a few different businesses, and they're all really valid. So it's really to do with, like I said before, finding what works for the client and not for me personally. Because to be able to achieve a good successful life, you got to be motivated to do it, and that is to do with what motivates you, not what motivates me. So that's really important. All to do that, to live that great lifestyle that you want to live. A little bit of background about where I come from. So I was born in Chile, and third world countries are very competitive markets. If you have a job and you're not feeling very comfortable about being there, or you want to look at options, there's a list of probably 5,000, 10,000 people looking for your job. So you work really hard at keeping that. And so since a very early age, I was more of an entrepreneur than the typical PAYE or working for a company kind of scenario. I've studied 3 different professions, and I studied, before I came to New Zealand, started about 7 different businesses. Small businesses. I guess the most successful was a bar that I owned with a couple of friends. Since the moment we opened the door, it was absolutely crazy. So through the process of starting these businesses that I did, it was just a way for me to learn. It was a way for me to make mistakes. That's one of the reasons why I feel very comfortable, and the way I train my team to give advice is because of, based on my experiences. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of gains. I've made a lot of money before. I've lost it. I've made it again. So when I sit down with a client today, that's the reason I feel comfortable to talk about, mortgages and businesses and all these things, because I've done it, because I've had this life where when they decided to leave my home, where I was surrounded by great people and my family and financial stability, and decided to start again. So I know what it means to start again and climb from the bottom right to the top. I'll give you one example. The last business that I was part of, I started, which was my introduction to the financial service industry. I started as an insurance broker, not knowing anything about insurance. This was in 2016. Then I moved to be a mortgage advisor the same year. I was head of people, general manager, and I was a partner in the business within 3 years, which it was a huge achievement, I guess. But it was to do with me really understanding what are the steps that I needed to take. I obviously had a lot of experience running businesses before, so I could, help with a lot of experience here. And more importantly, taking a whole lot of action. I sit down with a lot of clients that could have done something, call it wanted to buy a house, wanted to go on a holiday. All these goals, if you want to call them that way, are not just to do with making money. They can be with having better relationships. They can be with, around, losing weight, whatever it is. You really got to understand what that goal is and the steps you need to take to be able to achieve those things. So all these success or in failures have taught me all these things. And Success Avenue is just a combination of all these things where I've been part of a corporate environment. And the part that I didn't like about that was clients become numbers. So the emotional part of it, which I really connect with, goes away. It's all about the long-term value of a client and how much money we're going to make and how much we're going to grow this business and how much we can sell it for, which is not really what I was looking for. So this business is never going to be that. I love my connection with the clients. My team have great connection with all our clients, and really focusing on helping people and not focusing on this client is going to become this much times X through, with time. So that's I guess it's a big difference between our business and other businesses around here. We're not really focused on numbers. We're really focused on really helping people. Financial service industry has gone through a major overhaul. Last year, there was a lot of changes generated by probably banks and Aussie ripping people off a little bit too much, selling products to people that didn't need those specific products. And so now the whole financial service industry is run by professionals, which is really important. So anyone out there that you're dealing with, you're dealing with a professional, which is very, very important. So to be able for us to be able to give you any advice, we're going to be qualified in each area of the business to be able to do that. So I've got this diagram and it's this thing that I take people through, which for me helps clients get that success, and it starts with having strong foundations, So when you're looking to lose weight or learn a profession or anything like that, what's the first thing you do is you go and look for someone that is more experienced than you to help you through it, okay? Financial services is the same thing. And that's why our approach with our business is more about helping people figure every aspect of their financial life, not just one specific thing. So I'm not going to go out there. My conversation with you is not going to be, I'm going to get you a mortgage and thank you very much for the commission. We're building long-term relationships with each client, and hopefully this will never stop. So to successfully achieve paying a mortgage faster, to successfully achieve having the right protection in place, to successfully achieve having the right amount of savings for either buying a house or retirement, is to do with long-term planning, is to do with long-term support, and that's what we offer. So having strong foundations is the key. So how do you better use your money? Okay, how do you better save? How do you better budget? Okay, how your goals can be attached to that, because that's really important. If your goals are not attached to that, those changes you need to make, you're never going to change them. I deal with a lot of clients that pay thousands of dollars to do these fancy courses about financial planning, and it all comes back with budgeting and how you spend your money. And people don't like budgeting, so they only like budgeting if that budgeting is going to allow them to either buy this house or buy this motorbike or whatever it is they want to achieve, or go on a trip. If those goals are not attached to the changes or the habits you need to change, that is not going to work well. So that's where we focus a lot on building that foundation for you to understand what is important from a financial point of view, so that it makes sense to whatever your values and your whatever you want to achieve lifestyle-wise, and that's where we start. Then we need to understand where your financial position is. So for me to give you an idea of what you can achieve financially is to do it where you are financially now. What area of your financial life we need to change, or we need to improve so you get the results that you need to get. Call it be better insured, call it have a better KiwiSaver provider, save more money, get help from someone else to be able to achieve purchasing a house, whatever that is. Huge part of this is about accountability. So I go to the gym. I'm really into fitness. I'm really into sports. I think is a great way to. We live in this society today where we're pushed by all these things that are attacking us all the time, these iPads and these phones and messages, and we're just being constantly bombarded with things, and we're not focusing on us enough, and we have huge mental health issues, and so the fitness side of things for me is really important, and my team, they're all into it, and I encourage every person I talk to live that healthy lifestyle, because it really helps you on that financial lifestyle that you're actually looking for as well. Accountability, having someone there, a lot of my coaching and the coaching that I do with clients is to do with, we set up this structure where people understand how to use their money better and set goals and everything. But what people appreciate the most is that monthly or quarterly checkup to make sure that whatever we set to do, we're doing, because very easily we get distracted with the world and we're getting bombarded with all these different shiny things. So that's very, very important. Review. So how are we doing everything? Is our mortgage structure the right way? Am I set up to pay the mortgage faster? Do I have the right interest rates? Is my mortgage structure in line with what I'm planning to do in the future with this property? Is it set up properly from a tax point of view? All these different answers, we can go through and trying to really understand how we can get the best setup to be able to achieve, so you can achieve the result that you need to achieve. From a KiwiSaver point of view, there is a huge amount of providers in this country. I think back in Chile there's like 6. I think over here there's about 29 in New Zealand. So, and every provider's got a different fund. There's so many times where I catch up with someone and first I ask them what provider they're with, and they don't know, or they know and they don't know what fund they're in, and the returns, and all this is so important, because more often than not, people think their KiwiSaver is going to be their savior, or their way to save towards retirement, and they don't even know how that is performing. You're putting all this money, 3%, 4%, 8% of your KiwiSaver into this pool of money, and someone is taking that and investing it, and you don't know how. So if you really think about it, it's very important to know what that is doing, how your KiwiSaver is performing, and if you got the right fund, and if you got the right provider, because it could mean the difference between ending up with $100,000 or $500,000 at the end, And from a lifestyle point of view, when you decide to stop working, there's a huge difference between one and the other. Insurance. Insurance is one of those things that is not a product off the shelf, and it's got to be regularly reviewed. Why? Because our life changes. Again, like the KiwiSaver example, I meet with clients constantly, and they put something in place 10 years ago and they haven't looked at it. 10 years ago, they were, a young couple that just got together. Today, they've got 2 kids and a mortgage. The situation is completely different. The risk that you're looking to protect is completely different. And what is insurance? Insurance is a plan B. Okay, so if something happens, if you have an answer for it financially, then you don't need insurance. If you don't have an answer financially, then you do. It's really simple, So it's not about being scared of getting cancer and all these things. It's about that plan B. Because like I said before, the impact financially of not having it could be much, much greater than, call it, losing a house or anything like that, to go through a treatment, than if you don't have it, So it's very important to have that sort of stuff reviewed. Normally we do it on a yearly basis to make sure you got the right level. And ongoing support. So, like I said before, the key for success, long term, and I see it at the gym every morning, people who are looking to really make changes from a fitness point of view, they'll stick to that personal trainer for a long time, even after they maybe achieve that goal. Sometimes achieving the goal is the easy part, and then maintaining that or keep motivated to keep growing is the most difficult part. So having a professional, someone that's gone through it, could be hugely beneficial long term. And all of these things are to be able to achieve this ideal lifestyle. Once you understand, once everything is running better and performing better, then your chances of success financially and having a better lifestyle are much greater. From one meeting, many times we sit down with a client, and after one catch up, it could have a huge impact on their retirement savings. At the end, it could have a huge impact on how quickly they're going to pay their mortgage. It could have a huge impact on a situation where there was a claim on an insurance policy. They're going to protect their property and they can focus on that recovery and not on the financial side of things, which is very stressful.